Hey there, this is Wendy's Parade Perfume. I'm Wendy, and here on this channel I talk about perfume, if the name was not obvious. Today I do have a short list. I'm going to talk about 7 cherry blossom fragrances that I really love, but I also have a request because I still feel like I haven't found the one. I think I've talked about before how once I think about a note or an accord or a style or an idea, I tend to just chase it down and experience it as much as possible, experience as many interpretations of it as I can. And while I really like and love all of these that I'm going to be talking about, I still would love more suggestions. Even if it's like please don't do $500 niche. Don't do that. But even if it's expensive, or if it's like, hey, in all honesty, the best I've ever found was Cherry Blossom from L'Occitane, or, Bath and Body Works Japanese Cherry Blossom. Like, cool, like whatever. What are your favorites? I really, really, really and truly want to know. So please let me know. That being said, to Cherry Blossom, it is a fantasy note. There is no cherry blossom extract. It's made from aroma chemicals slash extracts from other flowers that the perfumer is trying to fashion into a cherry blossom accord. So let's start with number 1, easy peasy. You guys have seen this box before. I think I've talked about this before. This is Truly Daring from Kate Spade. In my head, I like to call it Truly Darling. I think Truly Daring is a dumb name because it's not daring at all. It's pretty simple. Super hot pink. This is very affordable, 25 bucks, 30 bucks for a full bottle. This is a relatively rich cherry blossom. It's cherry blossom, rose, and geranium, with a bit of earthy musk and a teeny tiny hint of cherry chapstick. But this to me is just a cheerful, happy, easygoing cherry blossom fragrance. It's probably in that group of like Bath and Body Works and things like that. And that's not to put this down. I do wear this a lot in the summertime, and I do enjoy wearing it. Lasting power is okay, but it's not very expensive. But it's it's sweet, but it's still it's a little bit held down to the ground with the rose and the geranium and the musk too. So the first cherry blossom on the list is Truly Daring by Kate Spade. Okay, another one that I've also talked about. This is from Chloe. Ooh, the light's a little hard on this one, but this is Chloe Fleur de Parfum. Now, this is an interesting cherry blossom because it is an herbal cherry blossom. There's a lot of lemon verbena on the top of this. This is a very like cold and fresh type of cherry blossom, where I find this one to be a little bit more on the warmer side. This is more of like the chilly, springy side, maybe. But this is cherry blossom with a lot of lemon verbena and a lot of lemon, a hint of rose and a hint of musk too at the bottom. And done in that kind of very feminine Chloe fashion. But this is Chloe Fleur de Parfum. I like this one. I don't really call it out as a cherry blossom fragrance, but it has a pretty big cherry blossom note in it. The next one is from Annick Goutal. This is Rose Pom Pom. So Rose Pom Pom comes in an eau de toilette and an eau de parfum. This is the eau de toilette. The eau de parfum is way too sweet for me, and I actually do not like it. Now, the eau de toilette, technically, according to the notes, does not have any cherry blossom in it. But like I said, cherry blossom is a fantasy note. So if I feel like there's some cherry blossom going on, we're going to say that there is. So this perfume is just a basic, if you will. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. That word has been very corrupted, hasn't it? This is a basic fruity floral, but the fruits are not sweet. There's a lot of black currant in here, and there's a lot of citrus, and there's a lot of rose and peony in the center. But the way that the fruits and the florals are melded together, to me, it just smells a little bit like an airy cherry blossom perfume. And that's what it smells like to me. Fruity floral cherry blossom perfume with a bit of rose and peony too. And this is done, like I said, this is not sweet compared to the eau de toilette, compared to the eau de parfum. The eau de toilette, not sweet, very nice. And it's a really pretty summertime perfume too, if you like Annick Goutal and their aesthetic. I don't think this video is going to be very long. I'm almost halfway done. Okay, next on the list is Guerlain's Cherry Blossom. This is not the Aqua Allegoria Flora Cherisia. That has watermelon and solar notes. I've never tried that one, even though I'm a Guerlain fanatic, because I've never wanted like a solar powered cherry blossom. It's just never been something I want. Anyway, their cherry blossom. Now, this is a rather dark and green interpretation of the cherry blossom. There's a lot of musk and there's a lot of lilac in here. And there's a lot of, this version at least, has a lot of green tea in it too. So it's almost like you're sipping very dark, bitter green tea on a dark day in the spring. You know, spring days, they can be a little stormy and things like that. This is not happy and cheerful. It smells beautiful and lovely, but it's a rather moody interpretation, especially with how green it is. The lilac and the green tea are very, very strong, and they almost overshadow the cherry blossom just a little bit. But I really enjoy this interpretation of cherry blossom, and that's the next one, cherry blossom from Guerlain. So this one I got as a blind buy because I'm impulsive, and I've just read and I've heard this is a really good cherry blossom perfume, and while I like it, I think I got a little bit, I expected too much out of it, especially for the price. But this is Chocho San from Perfumes MDCI, Eau de Parfum. And this is a rather cheerful, happy, another tea-ish. I should have just taken this out of the bottle, sorry, but I like to be able to do that. Chocho San. I don't know what that means. Anyway, I digress. This is a rather tea-ish, zesty, tart, almost it's a gourmand cherry blossom, but not in that horrible sweet mainstream way. Admittedly, it is a niche perfume. There's a lot of like lemony ginger in here and very strong tart rhubarb, and it has a very it's not a dark note because it's not like a black tea. The official note is oolong tea, but to me it almost comes off as like an earthy tea. If anyone that drinks loose leaf tea, it's very aromatic, and tea is just as diverse as wine in what it smells like in perfume. So it smells like an earthy tea to me. I think what kind of throws me is that the lasting power and the projection isn't super great, but I just need to play around with this a little bit more because this is rather new to my collection. But yeah, so a kind of like a zesty gourmand, ginger, lemon, tea, rhubarb, and cherry blossom, all kind of melded together. It is pretty though. I do like it, but real tart and zesty cherry blossoms, and that's Chocho San from Parfums MDCI. So probably gonna save the best for last, at least on my shelf. I told you this one's gonna be short. The best for last is the beautiful and stunning Amouage Blossom Love. So quick story about this. I don't buy testers anymore, generally speaking. I bought this originally as a tester, and I thought I could deal with it because it had a cap. And I happily wore at least half the bottle because this perfume is really pretty and really strong. But eventually I could not handle, it had the word tester on it, and the bottle was just, the presentation wasn't there. So I actually sold that bottle, even though the juice was perfectly good, just because I wanted the whole Amouage thing. So when I take it out, I can just have it resting in here. And I'm sorry, but this is pretty. It just is. It's really pretty. So, Amouage Cherry Blossom Love. There's a lot going in here. It's a complicated Amouage of perfume. This perfume it has a really, really strong suede note. It's also has a really strong, almost like, how can I say this to make it sound good? Like grape jam heliotrope note. There's amaretto in here too. It's a little bit musky. It's so strong. This is like nuclear strength Amouage, you know. Oh my God, it's so strong. But The other thing too is that this perfume, even though there's kind of like that leathery note and the Amaretto gourmand note and like the heliotrope and everything else, this also reminds me of the old-fashioned Jergens original cherry, just a little bit. Like if you were this like has the lotiony cherry Jergens original cherry like built into this with the leather and everything else. And that's not to put this down because this perfume is really expensive and Jergens is not. But that's a really nice interpretation of cherry blossom as well. I really feel like the other elements outshadow the cherry blossom. Like the leather is really strong, the amaretto is really strong, the musk is really strong, the heliotrope is really strong. But again, it's an interpretation. It's you can't have a solo floor of cherry blossom. I guess you could. I mean, I'm sure Demeter has one, but this is all in our imaginations, right? So. Anyway, that's my 7. I don't have like 30 cherry blossom perfumes to show you. The one I really want to try too is the Florist one. Has anyone ever tried that one, the Florist cherry blossom? And I may want to revisit L'Occitane's cherry blossom as well. I always found that one to be a little bit like on the soapy shampoo side though. But all right, I think that's all I have to say. So another low budget, unedited, unrehearsed perfume list slash review from Wendy's Parade. And seriously, seriously, not cherry. I don't want to hear about cherry perfumes right now. Cherry blossom. What do you like? Let me know. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.